Namaste everyone, my name is Avinash Anand Singh. Welcome to this podcast and the YouTube show as well, Being Iconic with Avinash Anand Singh. Today we have an amazing person, amazing soul, one of my personal favorite, and she is the director, executive producer and writer of the documentary, famous documentary, Heal. And personally, it was amazing for me to watch that documentary because it resonates a lot with what I believe as well. Quickly, in 2012, she founded the company Elevative Entertainment, which created projects like Taken Parody Toucan, a thriller titled Beneath, and the documentary Heal. And she has been a person into meditation, trying to bridge the gap between science and ancient wisdom as well as spirituality as well. So everyone, I am excited for this episode. I hope you all are excited. And let's welcome Miss Kelly Gores. Kelly, thank you for joining in.
Thank you for having me.
Kelly, what inspired you to make Heal? What was your inspiration behind?
Yeah, it was such a calling, and I think it was just a lifetime of little events that set me off to that path of just curiosity. I'm just very curious about our human potential. And I started learning about, how, we're not victims of life. We're not victims of our genes. I read in college, I read a book called Return to Love with Marianne Williamson. And it really helped me see that, we can create heaven or hell on earth based on our thoughts, if we're coming from love or if we're coming from fear. And that really opened me up to this whole new kind of ancient wisdom, spirituality thought process. And then later, about 8 years later, I read The Biology of Belief by Bruce Lipton. I just did a panel with last night. I just love that man. But he talks about epigenetics and, how our thoughts, beliefs, and emotions, our perception of life actually determine which genes turn on and off. So just little things in life that showed me, we have so much more power. We're co-creators with life. And I just got very excited about that and wanted to eventually put all the teachers that empowered me into a film to empower others.
Do you believe this is one of your, possibly a purpose of your life? Do you see that? Is this the purpose of life to bring, I'm sure because there are a lot of research in place, a lot of wisdom, but until there's a medium to communicate this to right people and to the masses, right? So do you feel this is a purpose you have to live in this earth, to create these documentaries and touch people in all the ways?
Yeah, I mean, I think for sure, it was such a calling. It was one of those things where I don't know why, why me? Why is this? Why do I feel compelled to do this? Because you would think that I, dealt with my own health issues or lost someone to a devastating illness, and that wasn't the case. I was just like, why do I feel so drawn and pulled to do this thing? So I do feel that there was some sort of dharma purpose aspect of it because it was just such a strong pull. And now, it was the first film that I directed, but I just knew I had to direct it. And when I said yes, the universe kind of conspired. Everything, there was a flow aspect to it. There was an energy behind it that was not my own. And so to experience that was really cool, and it felt very purposeful.
Amazing. And you rightly said that there's no major event in your life which made you to do this, possibly a calling. And for me, last, I think, 13 years, I have been studying this area. I came across the book, The Power of Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy, Dr. Joseph Murphy, 2003. And that literally changed something inside me. And I started applying these tools, concepts, and I saw a lot of change happening in my life. So 2014 is when I decided that I want to go full-fledged. And today we teach these concepts of law of attraction, subconscious, bringing science, and quite well in India. And I was thinking that there's nothing happened in my life so drastic, right, which has pushed me towards this side. So I was thinking, there has to something happen like that, or sometime we all can be good, and still you can open some doors towards a different purpose altogether, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Same.
So, yeah. So somebody who's watching this show right now and may not have any background about Heal at all, right? What would be your summary? Because I want them to go and read the book and see the documentary. But what would be that small summary, possibly, which give them an overview of what the documentary is all about?
Sure. I would say the small summary is, we are designed to heal in every moment. Literally, we're healing from the time we're born. Our immune systems are incredible. And our bodies are just so intelligent. We have this innate intelligence within us. And so many people, especially in my country, are sick with chronic illness. And so, we've been conditioned to believe that our bodies are failing us and we need something outside of ourselves to heal us, whether it's a drug or anything else. And I want to bring people back to knowing that our bodies know how to heal. We just need to educate ourselves to learn how to support that natural innate healing process. So it's basically how our thoughts, beliefs, and emotions affect our health, and to discover the incredible potential within us all.
Right, beautiful. So everyone watching this, I watched this documentary, my wife as well, and we both loved it. And this was not a very, it was a documentary which we related, because the way you were in the entire documentary, connecting all the dots and all, it was very real. Same time, I think in a very good way, it showed a lot of deep scientific concepts in a very simple to easy to understand manner, I guess, right? For me, it was like one of my favorite documentary. Obviously, Secret was one of them long time back when I saw that. So everybody watching this, highly recommended to go and watch this documentary on Netflix. And the book is, I think, is available on Amazon as well. Book is everywhere.
Yes.
Beautiful. So Kelly, now coming back to the times we are in right now, the COVID situation, I think a lot of people has created fear, and obviously there are job losses. People have have seen a dark side as well. But as per you, and especially the post-heal documentary phase of your life, I'm sure life would have changed somewhat for you as well. Okay, what are changes in life after heal has happened for you? What are those changes that happened in your life?
Yeah, I mean, I'm living a lot more consciously. Obviously, you kind of have to practice what you're preaching. So just this, and COVID is the perfect example. I just sat back and I watched this like virus of fear that took over the world. And it was just so fascinating and obviously devastating and sad. I feel for the vulnerable ones that are suffering. And but I do, from what I've learned and the new lens through which I'm looking at life, I just know how much fear and the media, and just conflicting information and confusion and this isolation that the whole world, was stay in your homes and put on masks and everything. I just watched how detrimental fear and stress is to health, and so I'm pulled in so many directions because I want people to know what I know. And it's just this knowing in me, that our bodies are capable of so much more than we're being led to believe, even in the face of this coronavirus. It's like we deal with coronaviruses all the time. And our immune systems gather information and then learn how to deal with this novel virus like this. And so I just wish there was a different narrative, and there's politics behind it, and there's just so much ickiness to this. But I know, India is being hit real hard right now. There is a real virus, but I think that it could have been handled and the people could have been educated in a much more beneficial way. But it's just a reflection on so many aspects of our society, and it's now a global society, that are not sustainable, not compatible with our highest good. It's really, this global pause has taught us to look at, how we're treating ourselves, how we're treating other people, and how we're treating our planet. And all three of those things were kind of failing in those categories.
Yes, and that was my next question, that though people are seeing this, and I see a lot of Facebook posts and people are talking about this is the worst year ever, can we reset 2020, right? But I personally believe it is one of the best year we can have possibly. And obviously pain is there for sure. But I think it has shown us the mirror, like a red flag is on now from nature, Mother Nature, that look, this way is not sustainable. This is the way we are leading towards destruction, right? So as per you, what are some positive you are seeing in this situation in this COVID time? There's fear for sure, but what is a different shift in perspective which you have personally in the entire this time right now?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we were forced to slow down. We were given so much more time back. That we had wasted with distraction or commuting or filling up our schedule with kind of unnecessary social, distraction. Like we escape, especially in the West. Like we're very ill-equipped to feel and express our emotions in a healthy manner. So we distract, we suppress, we, repress if it's in trauma. And so it's a way that we were kind of paused so that we were forced to feel things. It was very uncomfortable for people. And on top of that, you put in a very stressful situation of people losing their jobs, fear and stress of, getting this COVID. And so I just thought, I look at it like this is such a beautiful, not only did we have time and space to reflect and feel things and start to work through things and self-reflect and reconnect to ourselves, but also reconnect to our families. If you're always go or you're on your phones, there's just been this disconnection. And so I think it's the beginning of, or the deepening of a rehumanization process. So I personally have loved it. Obviously, again, I'm feeling for people that are suffering and whose lives were upended. But I definitely think there's a divine intelligence to the chaos. And, it's like breakdown before breakthrough. So,
yeah. Beautiful. That's I think, yes, we all, I think we have the ability, the understanding, the knowledge and wisdom. But times like this is when the application has to happen. I think, this time also gives people the window to really put in practice like for me, for example, for me, mostly the work was the classroom sessions we conduct. I know different cities in India, 10, 12 cities in India. And this time, suddenly the classroom sessions all blocked now, right? And suddenly I said, oh my God, my major work is blocked now. What do I do? And suddenly I said, okay, what opportunities are coming up right now? And suddenly the online space opened up. Okay, there is an online thing. Can you make online programs which can reach out to people? So we started doing live sessions over Zoom on healing and subconscious rewiring of the beliefs, and touch wood, a different dimension opened up completely. So I think a shift in perspective plays such a major role in times like this. No?
Yes, totally.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, look on the bright side, and every challenge, there's a lesson and a blessing, I love this whole thing of the Chinese symbol of crisis is made up of two characters that can be translated as danger and opportunity. So the danger, it heightens our senses, it makes us vigilant, but then we something new opens up and we see this tremendous opportunity for growth.
Right. And I think if we take the clue from Dr. Bruce's work as well, sometimes people say, okay, you're just looking at the positive side. How does it make a difference, right? But if you bring the science of perception in the picture, then that's one shift in the perception. It starts a complete trigger of a different chemicals in the body altogether, right? So there's a huge thing as well in behind, right? Okay.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, exactly.
So Kelly, now I want to understand how has been your spiritual journey? What has been Kelly's inner journey? Have you been through some experiences like that? Do you follow spiritual school? What has been your personal understanding of God? Have you experienced some of the mystical moments in your life? What are those like? I just open-ended question.
Yeah. So I'll just try to give you the quick overview. I was raised Catholic. Both sides of my mom and dad, their parents were very devout Catholics. My brother was an altar boy, and so we would go to church. And I loved studying Jesus, and I loved the history of it and his teachings. But something never quite clicked. I'd go to church and I'm like, what? It's just floating by, the sermons. I loved the parables and the actual stories that he taught, but something wasn't fully resonating. And so I decided not to become confirmed, which when you're like 13, 14, you pledge your hand to study Christianity and Catholicism the rest of your life. And I was like, well, I'm so young. Like, I feel like I should study Buddhism and Hinduism and all of the nation's religion. I mean, the world's religions, so that I can make an informed decision, you know? And so I didn't confirm. So I started to kind of, my curiosity wasn't driving me to learn about other religions, but intuitively I knew, like, I feel like most religions are the same universal principles, just in different clothing, you know, because of different cultural ways of life, you know? So, but then I went through a period of time in high school and my teenage years where I just felt maybe there wasn't a God. I was questioning the God. I felt very like cause and effect and Newtonian physics and just logic and linear, you know, life, and which is kind of a scary place to be because you're at the mercy of fate. You have no control, right?
Right.
And so then I went to college. I went to Berkeley, and I was kind of depressed for the first time in my life, and angry and just not feeling right in my body. And at the time, I looked at it like, okay, I came from sunny Southern California, and I moved up, and there was, you know, it's like gloomy and rainy for 10 months out of the year. And so I blamed the weather. I blamed, you know, drinking alcohol and eating crappy food. And so I was like, I just don't feel good. And then, so I transferred back to UCLA, my hometown, and traveled with my brother in some downtime. I went to Australia, and someone gave me the book Return to Love. And I was like, whoa, like it just woke me up to this new truth. And I was like, this finally resonates, you know, fear versus love, heaven versus hell, or it would be hell versus heaven. And just, you know, it put God as love, you know, and so that kind of set me on this like spiritual seeking. And then in 2008, I started going to Agape, which Michael Beckwith, he's in Heal. He started this trans-denominational international spiritual center. So welcomed people of all religious backgrounds, and he teaches from all the holy books. And it was just such a more, you know, it just resonated. So his work resonates so deeply because it was just, I walked in and it's people of every color, every economic background. It was a true microcosm of the world. And we studied all religions, and it's more of just like a spiritual high vibration experience when you go. And it's, and he couples in like kind of not law of attraction per se, but yeah, it's like manifesting and really aligning your energy with that vision that you want to experience. And so it's just such an empowering place. And so that's kind of my spiritual family now. But, you know, so now I believe that, you know, we come from all the same source. We are spiritual beings having a human incarnation, a human experience. And this separation between you and me is an illusion. We're all the same. And we're here, it's kind of like, you know, the school of life. Our souls choose this journey to be on and to grow and expand and elevate our consciousness to a different level. And so that's why we're all here. That's what I believe.
Amazing. And you know, you talk about oneness, and while watching the documentary, you know, when in a couple of instances when I think I forgot her name, Ellie, I think, who was sharing a story, and you know, when I saw you in the picture, and your eyes and the emotions you felt for her, you know, so I was literally, that moment got captured in my brain, you know, the energy around your face and the intense eyes, and you're feeling that oneness connection. So I felt some bit of, you know, when I watched you, that, okay, she is really into that mode completely, you know, amazing.
Yeah. Thank you.
So any personal, I'm sure you meditate as well, right? You do meditation practices. How has been your inner journey spiritually? Like, have you experienced, sometimes people say going to a different dimension or feeling of this bliss, you know, and a lot of people go to meditation with this intention, no, I want to feel different. So how has been your meditation practices?
Yeah, meditation now, I've had moments where I like dip down and they feel like I don't know how long they last, but it feels like it's just a second, you know, where you dip down and you just completely lose all sense of your body. I mean, you're out of your body, you know, but deep in another realm. And it feels like a moment, but it's very healing. It's very like, oh, it's like dipping into the source, you know? And that's not often. So that's maybe happened. I've been meditating for 13 years, I think. And that's happened maybe 4 times. So, but meditation to me, you know, it's such a practical daily practice that, I mean, I feel, you know, once it just opens up my perception when I'm not meditating. It creates so much space that I'm able to catch intuition or, you know, I'll know that I'll think of someone and then I'll turn on my phone in the morning and they have texted me. So you feel very connected and in the flow. And meditation helps just get rid of all the minutia in your mind and also gets your heart and your brain into coherence, which then obviously changes your frequency, which then changes the signal that you're sending out into the world. And then, you know, you attract really wild synchronicities and stuff like that. So meditation to me is like, you crave it after you've been practicing for a while. You just crave that time to just shake off all the accumulation and the tension of the world and turn within and connect with your higher self.
Oh, when you had this intuition about making this the documentary Heal, the calling came in. Was it in the meditation you got the idea, or is it like after it? How it happened?
Oh, that's a good question. It was one. I just remember, you know, when I read the biology of belief, and when I read the science and how, you know, how proteins are made and how the cell membrane is actually, you know, the brain of the cell, and it just, I mean, it like hit me like a lightning rod. That I remember having the thought. I remember where I was when I was reading the page, and I said, you know, everybody needs to know this. And I think that was like so, and I was working out at the time. I get a lot of inspiration when I'm working out. It's funny. It's meditative for me. You know, I'm an athlete. I grew up playing sports. And so sometimes when I'm doing physical activity, it allows my brain to go into a different state, and I get just downloads of creativity or inspiration or, you know, intuitive hit.
So when you got the idea of this to make something like this, and I'm asking because of a personal reason, because I also have a lot of ideas. I'm trying to figure out some answer from you.
Yeah.
When you got this idea, yeah, right? Did you question that? Is it really intuition which came, the universe wants me to do, or is it my own figment of imagination and I won't do this? So was there a conflict like that? And did you face initially? I'm sure once the work started, you had possibly a momentum. But before even starting it, right? Like, for example, I have few ideas of making some documentaries, like one on law of karma. The law of karma is a teaching in all the religions, right? Yeah. Most people have seen this in a different way. But if you start seeing the common, there is a common ground everywhere, no? And if you really see from a very high angle, there's some beautiful teachings can be deciphered. So I want to make a documentary on law of karma. I want to make a documentary on what is God, right? It's not a person, old man sitting up there, but as a universal consciousness, and how possibly taking the wisdom of different spiritual teachings, demystify that concept, because a lot of people still hold the old view of God, and from that perception, they have all kind of conclusions coming in, right? But the moment we see that we are an individual consciousness and a part of a universal consciousness, and maybe quantifiably we may be different, but qualitatively we all are connected, right? So for me, these are ideas I have. Sort of question like, how do I go about this? Is it the time right now? Is it my own thing, or is it really going to impact? So what was your thing when you had this heal, and how did you went ahead with the doubts and the fears possibly you had?
Yeah, I think there was a lot of time in between. There was probably 8 years between when I started going, because I think watching The Secret too was one of the first things where that like set the template, where I was like, oh wow, that movie affected me. It wasn't even like the quality or the storytelling, like we have different styles, but just like the content in it changed my life. And so a few years later, as I'm learning more and more, I was like, I want to do the next version of The Secret, because it changed my life in such a powerful way. So I started thinking about it. I started reading more and more, but I wasn't ready to do it. But it was just this like little tickle in the back of my mind, you know? So I think that, you know, I think timing will tell you when you're ready to do it. So just keep marinating in these ideas would be my advice, and keep reading. And then when you'll begin to notice which one of those is stronger. Maybe they're interwoven and you do, you know, it's the same project, but the vision will become clear, and it may take a few years. You know, I think I was marinating on it for about 6 years before I started making real steps forward. And it wasn't until 8 years after I had the idea that I was like, okay, I'm ready. Let's do this, you know?
Right. Amazing. Have you got the idea now for the next one, which is going to, I'm sure once you start, you don't stop, right? I'm sure you will have something in place, right? Some work has started on that side also.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about doing a television series because there's so much to explore, as you know, that it'd be great to have an ongoing thing. And I don't think I could duplicate what I did. You know, often people make a part 2 and it's never lives up to the magic of the first one. I've been doing a lot of online summits with Hay House. We have the third one that we're going to film in September, which goes out to their email list. And you know, those are really great week-long kind of online programs. But for me, I feel like perhaps I just had a baby a year ago. So I feel my intuition is.
she was, sorry to interrupt, she was the one who when I saw your Instagram, and no, she's such adorable, right? And she has that charm to her, and no, I think her name is Riley, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and she is beautiful, like completely adorable. I showed my wife a picture. I said, look, this is and then I made her watch Heel as well, and she was like, no, amazing. Yeah, please go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, so my intuition is that my next, you know, I think I want to take a little bit of time to Heal was such a strong calling, and I don't know that I have so many passions. I care about healing the planet. I care about the environment. You know, right now in America, especially, we're dealing with this whole racism conversation now that is completely overshadowing COVID. You know, there's thousands of people shoulder to shoulder in the street protesting this systemic racism that's just been, you know, underlying America's, you know, societal structures for 400 years because of slavery. And so I think, you know, I feel like there's a responsibility for all of us to put energy into healing that systemic racism. And so I think I just want to take some time now because I've been, since 2016, starting the film, releasing it in 2017, you know, finishing the book in 2018, releasing it, you know, so it's just been output. I think that now I just want to take some time, be with my daughter. Intuitively, I think there's going to be something that stems from motherhood, always consciousness, may have to do with the environment, may have to do with just raising kids. But so I think, you know, now's the time to just refill the cup with inspiration and reading all these books that are behind you that will inspire me to my next calling, you know?
Right. Amazing. So after Heal came in, I'm sure, did you get some also, like with all the positive feedback and people who resonate, they come with all kind of praises. But did you also have people from the skeptic background, people with a skeptical mindset and the scientific domain? I'm sure there are people who come in and start saying, oh, this is all crap and all. Did you get to have those reviews, and how did it affect you somewhat, or you like completely ignored all of this?
Yeah, I think I was actually surprised that we didn't get more pushback. I was very conscious when I was making the film not to, we call it poke the bear, and wake up, you know, the pharmaceutical powers that be that might, I tried to create space for pharmaceutical in the narrative, going like, look, there's a time where we need drugs and surgery and interventions to get us over the hump, and then, you know, allow our bodies to do the healing. But so because of that, I think that it's been, you know, really well received, but there's always haters, you know, haters are going to hate. So, you know, I think maybe on Amazon, we've gotten really good reviews, like across the board on Netflix and iTunes and even Amazon. But there's always people that just love to chatter and call Deepak and Anthony William and all these people quacks and whatever. But I would say they're like 2% of the feedback, which has been shocking to me. I thought we were going to get maybe, 60-40 bad, good, good, bad or whatever. So it's been a very small percentage, which has obviously felt really, really good.
Right. Beautiful. Yeah, because sometimes what happens is with all the good work we have done, that what I think Daniel Kahneman talks about, the negative bias, the mind gets stuck into that 1-2%, which is generally the negative side, and I think the ego gets active and we try to defend it and all. So how do you tackle those situations if in a conference somebody asks a question possibly, and the intention is to possibly just to take a fight on, right? How do you handle those situations? I'm sure post-heal you'd be speaking a lot of people would be coming to you talking about things. So how do you deal with those kind of people?
Yeah, I've done a ton of work on myself. So to really like excavate what subconscious beliefs I have that are, making me triggered, so if I have a belief system that I am not enough, or I am not safe, or I've done something wrong, which are 3 that I've discovered I have, and most of it's inherent in just humans. But from my childhood, certain things, developed these kind of lenses in my mind where I look at the world. So if someone triggers that wound inside of me, the ego wants to defend against and make them wrong. And so I've done so much work on myself that I now I try to view the world. I still get triggered, but I try to view the world as like, look, everybody's coming from their own conditioning. Rather than react, I want to get to a place where I have the capacity to respond. That's the responsibility that we have as we start to wake up. And just really coming from a place of allowing everybody to have their opinions and not need to be so self-assured, and to be, to allow people to have their experience and their opinion, and not have to defend against it. So, and I think once we do that work and we can come from that place of compassion and, forgive them for they know not what they do. Everybody's doing the very best that they can with what they know. And it's just a level of ignorance, not, stupidity. It's just literally unconscious, subconscious beliefs, subconscious programming that's running their lives. And most people are just kind of walking around unconscious, or they might just have a different opinion. And so for me, the work is just to allow people to have their perspective and stay strong in what I know to be true and what resonates with me. And I don't, the heal stuff, it's like, I don't need to defend against it because it's such a deep knowing of truth for me. And it's my truth, and I don't feel like I need to convince the world. I just wanted to offer up kind of, this is my truth. This is what resonates to me. This is what I've seen to be true in my experience, and take what resonates with you and dive deeper into that. So it's just work, a lot of inner work, a lot of, maturity that comes with time and age. And then you just allow people to have their political views, and then if someone's just negative and a hater, which I don't encounter that many, even on social media, it's like the more you do the work, the less you actually encounter these people. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, yeah.
So, but sometimes do you feel this that, because out of good heart, we have compassion and we want people to have a good life. And out of this need, because a deep sense of feeling you have for people, sometimes do you feel this that sometimes we get, too much too much into the mode of convincing them. No, if you really understand this point, your life will change, So out of goodness, I faced this a lot. I wanted to go to people and tell them, no, look, if you change this, your life will change, right? And later I realized that, okay, people have their journey. If the time is not right, they may not understand this as of now, no? So do you feel this sometimes when you have this awareness and you want to go and really positively affect people? And how do you balance that part?
Yeah, it's really hard too, especially when it comes to someone's life and their health, So there's a lot of people that are late stage cancer, say, or get a, diagnosis like MS or something where, there's not a lot of hope in the belief system around this diagnosis. And of course, I'm so hopeful because I've seen people heal from everything. And so it's very frustrating and hard as an empath to not go, oh my gosh, no, like there's so much you can do. There's so much possibility. And yet they're completely in victimhood. No, my case is different. No, there's no hope. The doctor told me this, you know? So it's been hard to allow people to have their journey when their life is at stake, you know? But I just, you know, again, over time, you just learn to just kind of be there as a loving support. And you can kind of lob out little suggestions every once in a while. But, you know, when people are in fear, the more you push your truths on them and they're not ready, the more they're going to shut down and push away, because whether it's their ego in protection or survival or just, you know, trauma, you know, to push them in the direction that you want them to go may expose some trauma. And that's just terrifying for people. It's just as painful as when the trauma actually happened. Yeah. And that happens a lot in healing. It's like, you know, if you want to look at things holistically and really heal, you're going to have to uncover some trauma, and that's painful. So a lot of people aren't ready to do that work. So you just have to, you know, sit in compassion and kind of be the example, or just gently kind of try to lead them to water. But no, you can't. You just have to allow. I've learned that you just have to allow people to have their feeling, even if it means that their life, you know, is cut short, which is really heartbreaking.
And that's the bad side of being good, I think. No, you feel so much for people, in fact, sometimes.
Yeah.
You talked about your subconscious belief, and I think one was I'm not being enough. Second was I'm not safe.
Yeah.
And what was the third one? I missed the third one.
The third one was I'm doing something wrong. You know, I had a very explosive father who is a beautiful guy. He's still married to my mother. And, you know, as I got older, I just saw that he was, you know, a giant 2-year-old that was never put so much pressure on himself that he would explode, and expected so much of himself and expected so much of others. But as you know, so I just saw that he wasn't equipped to express his emotions in a healthy way because he put so much pressure on himself, because he was raised by a very military, alcoholic, explosive, rigid father. And so, you know, when you start to pull back and go, oh, it's not, you know, but as a 2-year-old, you're looking up at this 6'4" man who is, you know, angry, and it's terrifying. So I developed like, okay, I'm not safe. And then you develop survival mechanisms like, okay, I'm going to do everything right. I'm going to be very vigilant and find out what people want so that I can keep everybody happy so he doesn't explode, you know? And the same with, you know, I've done something wrong. I had this, you know, this construct in my mind that says I have to do everything perfect or someone's going to get mad, or, you know, like, and explode, or someone won't love me, because that was the behavior that I was seeing. And it's just, and it colored my programming. And so, you know, and then you start to get triggered in life where you make a mistake or you disappoint someone, and it's just like, just the stress chemistry erupts in your body. And it's so you start to see things, you start to see where you get triggered, where your heart starts to race and something happens, and everybody has their own version of what I'm describing, based on trauma or upbringing or whatever. And so the triggering is feedback, so that so that you can do the inner work and start to excavate and dissolve these constructs in your mind that keep you kind of in prison, you know. One of the experts in Heal, this guy, Peter Crone, I work with him as my coach, and he says, you know, life will bring you circumstances and people to reveal where you're still not free. So, and triggering is an alarm bell going, oh, that's where you're not free. Let's look at that, you know?
Right. So obviously I've been doing their work in subconscious from last like 8-9 years now, and we do the process of helping people release this, and the belief I'm enough, I'm not enough is one of the very common belief people have. I think it's one of the commonest belief you find everybody's holding inside. And I think that has a lot to do with the education system we have been through, wherein there's a grading done and you're always in focus on what you're not good at in a way, right? So when you uncover this belief, what was the process of you uncovering this belief? How did you you understand? Obviously, there are people who may be right now listening to this, and as they listen, they'll be thinking of what beliefs they have. So obviously, there are many methods for it. What was your way of uncovering some of these limiting beliefs, and how did you reverse them, change them to see maybe a different side to this?
Yeah. I think with the I am not enough, just really looking at that and looking at your behavior as a result and these survival mechanisms that we've developed as a result. And some of those are very, they're gifts. They're like, there's a certain aspect to trying to please everybody and being a good student and trying to prove. It gives you ambition and drive. And so there's healthy aspects of it, but then there's unhealthy aspects of it. And so, but I think, just asking, is this really true? And really all of the reading, all of the teaching, all of the speakers that I've listened to, going to Agape, reading these spiritual texts and books, and you realize that we are all inherently divine beings, so I think that for the I am not enough, it's just education, and you see that we are here and we always have our higher self and our soul, some people call it angels, to go to for guidance, but we're literally little, like if God was the sun, we're little light beams, we're extensions of that divine light. So just learn, for the I am not enough, I've just learned around that is just simply not true, and then maybe for I am not safe, you just start to, the more you understand, the more you look at it, it's almost like as you bring it to the surface, as you bring it out of the subconscious into the conscious, that process, the light itself, the awareness itself begins to dissolve that construct. And then you can just continually question, like, oh, why am I getting triggered here? Oh, because I don't feel safe, because I feel that if I behave this way, my partner will, break up with me, and then I will be out in the world not safe, or whatever it is, So you just start, the more you become aware and the more you look at your stuff, the more you can dissolve its illusion or lie.
Right, amazing. I think this quote which says that the life which is not examined is not worth living. I think that proves the point very well, right? You have to go back to the inner journey in a way, right? Kelly, any Indian masters have you been influenced by? Like maybe Paramahansa Yogananda, Ramana Maharshi, any of these masters you have been fascinated by, or like some work, reading of the books, something like that?
Yeah, I would say Yogananda, for sure. And I mean, that's really, I'm reading, I don't know how to say his name, but hold on one second.
Sure.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Yeah, completely all right.
Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj?
Yeah, Nisargadatta Maharaj, right. I am that, yeah.
Yeah.
This is amazing. It is so direct, like you are, that's it, there's nothing else. You are God directly, right?
Yeah.
This is beautiful.
Yeah.
So have you read the autobiography of the Yogi?
Mm-hmm.
How was the experience reading that book? Did you resonate with the stories he mentioned? A lot of people still don't believe to the stories, but I said, look, if that teacher's writing, there has to be some truth in that, right? So
totally.
how was your experience reading the book, Autobiography of Yogi? What did you like? Did it trigger anything inside you, maybe in your consciousness?
Yeah, it's like almost like, I mean, just the mysticism and it's like the tremendous, it just like someone's life path, and the magic and the mysticism and the synchronicity and the fate and the power and it just makes you look at his life and just everything that he did, and look at your own life and go, where are my mystical moments, so it's been a while since I read it, but I do, just the energy of it. We have a self-realization fellowship temple and kind of just this whole beautiful lake. It's the lake shrine.
Right.
very close to here, and it's just like the peace that you get when you go there. You know, that energy backs up what you just the kind of awakening that you read that you feel when you read his life story. You know.
Right. Yeah. Did you also have not read the books because he has not written the book, but have you heard about this teacher Maharaj Neem Karoli Baba?
Uh,
Uh, where he became
yeah,
famous,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mark
Neem
Zuckerberg.
Karoli Baba?
Yes, and he was
Yes.
in India, Nainital. He was where Ram Das and Bhagwan
Okay.
Das, the disciples,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He is Lawrence. So I think when you ever visit India, must go to that place. It's in
Okay.
Nainital. And he's like his teaching was love. That's it, right? He
Yeah.
just taught love to people. Amazing teacher, right? Another teacher also. I want to understand whether you have been exposed to the work. Uh, is Pranic Healing? Have you been across Pranic Healing?
I'm aware of it. But no, I haven't
Haven't been through,
experienced
yeah.
it. Yeah.
That's another amazing for me. When I was one of the very powerful understanding of energy and how these energy system works out. So when I came in pranic healing, that opened a lot of doors of understanding, right? And
Okay.
in the class first level itself, you tend to learn to feel energy and feel different chakras you have, how the energy moves, right? So tremendous. I think India is one of the places where you have so many of these teachers and masters. Amazing
Yeah.
place. Have you been to India before ever in your life?
I haven't. I need to go.
Okay. So,
I
so
know.
you have to come in, and I'll be your host if you're coming to Pune. I stay in Pune, right? But please let me know. I'll give you a good itinerary of main spiritual places to visit here. Amazing
Yeah.
ground. A lot of
Wow.
people here, but you'll find this people who can feel that oneness. It's a place to be here. It's amazing. Amazing.
Wow. Amazing. Yeah, I've hugged Amma a few times as well. Do you know about Amma?
Yeah, the hugging saint, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she is beautiful.
Yeah.
And, I was listening to a story by on a YouTube channel, and they're talking about her. So we got to know about her story, how from childhood she was doing all these things, right? So I think I was thinking, who is the living saint I can go and meet right now? No, so
Yeah.
she was the one who popped up. Okay, she is the one right now still who is present, because I had this regret. All the teachers who came in, right? The earliest was Osho, I think, and then Paramahansa Yogananda ji. But I was born after they left the world, right? I said,
Yeah.
where are you guys? No one to meet
Yeah.
right now. So my intuition said, meditate, go in the inner world, and then you meet those teachers, right?
Oh wow. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yes, Amma is one of the, I think, living ones still. And
Yeah.
she is amazing. There's one video I saw of a foreign devotee was meeting her, and she took the child, that 1-year-old baby,
Mhm.
and when baby was looking at her face, when the mother took the baby back, the baby started crying, right? And
Oh,
then
wow.
when again took the baby, she got silent watching her face, right? So I was like, oh, this is amazing, no?
That's real. Yeah.
You can feel the presence of her love, right? His entire aura is filled with a lot of love.
When I first hugged her, the first time I've gone to her 3 times. The voice that this was a mystical moment. I mean, she like hugged me and then she spoke in my ear, and this was not a voice coming from this woman. This was a voice of God, like in this guttural vibration. It was so incredible. I was like, what just happened? Like, it was whatever mantra she was putting into my ear was like not coming from this woman. It was crazy. It was
Wow.
beautiful. Yeah.
Amazing. Great. Kelly, what is the impact you want to leave on this world? What is your dream? Do you have a dream in place that how do you want to make the world before and after, Kelly? Something of that sort?
Oh my goodness. That's a great
As
question.
Rumi says, one of the quotes of Rumi that love says I'm everything and wisdom says I'm nothing. And between these two, I exist, right? So to be everything, how do you see to impact the world? Like what way you want to change this? You already have changed the world. People who have watched it, I'm sure this will give so much hope to people. And I think in all the difficult times, hope is that one emotion which really makes you hold on to things and not give up, right? And obviously healing comes in, and everybody has a role to play. But when the hope comes in, people start exploring at least, right? And I think that's what heal does. it gives you a opening. Okay, there exists something more, and it's not just the woo stuff, but something more to it, right? So what do you think now? How do you want to shift the world?
I think I want to continue to, we're only using, I don't know what the percentage of it is, but the percentage of our brain and our mind's capacity that we're using is like 7% or something. Like there's so much more, there's so much potential we have that we're not even tapping into. So I would love to be someone that continues to explore that and push boundaries and break paradigms and really retrain our minds to, go into this field of infinite possibilities and create, just create out of the field, rather than just be in this dense, slow, changing matter world. So I think it's just, I keep wanting to just, be light, uplift people, inspire people, and really just demonstrate that so much more is possible than we have witnessed, in whatever area that may be, helping change the planet, change the environment, manifest just incredible things for people, change, just, there's so much suffering. I would love to just elevate that through infinite possibility and in manifestation and light.
Amazing. God bless. I hope that manifests for you for sure. Any secret tool you use to manifest? Do you have any secret recipe which you use generally? That's the question I've been asked a lot. That is the secret tool of that you practice. So in the workshops, I tell people, look, these are the tools, right? And at the last, they'll ask, look, what is that you practice, right? So I'm asking the same question to you. What is that you practice to manifest? Is there any secret recipe you have which you use?
Yeah, and we talk about in the film as well, in the book. I think gratitude is the most powerful kind of tool that I've come across. I write in a journal. I think, we talk about in Heal where elevated emotions release healing chemistry in the body, and love and joy and gratitude are the three that we go to a lot. And gratitude signals to the universe. The universe energy doesn't know the difference between if your mind is imagining an event or if you're actually living in an event. So that's why you can use your imagination and elevated emotions to create, something, manifest something. So when you practice gratitude, and writing is a big tool for me. So I write in my gratitude journal, and I write, and I learned this from The Secret, actually. I'm so happy and grateful now that, boom, boom, boom. And I write real things that are in my life. And then I start to play with my imagination and gratitude, and I write things that I want as if I already had them. So let's say I want to move to Paris. I'll say, I'm so happy and grateful that my daughter Riley is so healthy and happy at 1 year old. So happy and grateful that Heal is a tremendous success and is changing lives, and the beautiful feedback I'm getting. And then I'm so happy and grateful now that I live in Paris in this, flat, and the whatever that is that you want, you mix it in with stuff that's real. And so you just start to practice this and visualize and generate those feelings of gratitude. And that's my tool. And it's amazing what has transpired in my life as a result. It's just, it really, when you practice gratitude and you then start to mix in visualization and creative visualization, just, it's wild what shows up in your life.
Right. When my wife saw Heal, and she looked at your house, and it's a beach facing house, right?
Yeah.
And I hope you don't want to move to Paris because you have an amazing place. And she told me, she said, can you manifest something like this, like a beach facing house? Because I am a guy who loves nature, mountain or river, oceans, right? So you have an amazing place to live. Like, that's the part I'm jealous of.
Okay. It's amazing. I do feel like I definitely manifested this.
Yes.
I'm literally sitting at a desk right now, which if you go back to my journal, maybe 10, 12 years ago, this is exactly, I sit on the second story where I'm window facing the ocean. I have a desk and I sit here and write, and it's wild what has come true.
Can you turn the camera and show the viewers the picture of that place right now? Quickly, maybe. Yeah. I hope this is not too much. Yeah. Oh, wow. This looks amazing. It's a dream place to sit and write something, write a book possibly. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. So there's more writing in my future, and I think it'll.
And if the sun comes from this direction out in the morning?
Yeah, it comes from. So we're actually, we're on the West Coast, but we're actually facing south, like the Southern California. You're kind of south facing, so the
Yes.
sun rises that way and it sets that way.
Okay, so
You
you have both
see
of
the
you.
sunset over the ocean. Yeah.
Okay. So you can see the sunrise and the sunset, right? Both of them.
Yes.
Wow, amazing, amazing. Good, good, good. Kelly, now last few questions, one-liner, some quick questions. What is your favorite book?
Ah! Oh God. Oh my God. I can't answer that. I have so many.
Apart from Heal. Give me one
Yes.
book.
Let's see. I love The Alchemist.
Alchemist.
The
Beautiful.
Four Agreements is also one of the old trustees.
All right. Okay, great, great. Any favorite quote you have? The quote which inspires you? One-liner, two-liners, something like that. Any statement from Bible possibly or from any teachers?
These are supposed to be quick answers, huh? Yeah, I mean, I love, just do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Forgive them, for you know not what they do, and be the change you wish to see in the world. Those three, I kind of.
The golden rules, right? Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
Who is one leader, businessman, spiritual leader, scientist? Who is one person who inspires you a lot in this world? One guy who inspires you a lot.
Oh God. So many. That's alive right now, right?
Sorry?
That's alive right now?
This is not live.
I mean,
no, sorry, yeah. No, alive, not alive, it all works out. Anyone. Yeah,
I would say Jesus.
Yeah, amazing. The safest of all options.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I just feel like he was an enlightened, he was enlightened.
Right. I saw the movie Passion of Christ, and such a melting moment. You can feel that, the kind of things he went through possibly. And there's a beautiful book by the teacher of Paramasa Yogananda, Swami Yukteswar Giri. There's a book called as The Holy Science, in which he connects Hinduism and Christianity. And this was given by Babaji, Mahavatar Babaji, as an assignment to him to write the book. Not assignment, but a request possibly to write this book to show the fusion between Hinduism and Christianity and how they talk about the same thing. Amazing book. Very a short book, a small read, but amazing book to read, in fact.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Yeah, I'll check it out.
Okay. And if you can meet right now in the physical world, etheric world, if you can meet Lord Christ, you can meet Jesus, what is one question you'll ask him?
Yeah, I would say, wow. Is it possible? Is suffering necessary to the level that the world is suffering, or is it possible that we can have a utopian global community and experience, or is suffering necessary to this journey as a human being? Why so much suffering, kind of thing.
Okay. Beautiful, beautiful. What is Kelly advice to the Kelly of 10-year or 12-year-old?
Oh,
What advice?
This is good.
Like class 10, class 12, when you were coming to that 12, 14, 15, that age?
Yeah, I would say, stop. It would be about making mistakes, because I grew up not feeling that it was okay to make mistakes. So to know what I know now about making mistakes, like, stop taking yourself so seriously, learn from your mistakes, move on. The more you fail, the closer and faster you get to success.
Okay, beautiful. And the last question, if you have 1 week to live, what 3 things you must do before you leave this world?
Oh my gosh.
Sorry to ask all these so much pointed questions, but I want to have some deep understanding of the person's mind. So what are
Yeah.
3 things you want to accomplish before you leave this world? In a
Yeah.
week's time.
I would go helicopter snowboarding, like and like an amazing mountaintop somewhere with just fresh powder for, miles down the hill. I would do
Amazing.
that. I'm a big snowboarder.
Right.
Um, what else would I do? I would something having to do with the ocean. Um, yeah, I don't know, like swim with whales, maybe. Uh,
Amazing. Amazing. Do you have whales in this coast? You have whales?
we do, we do.
Ah,
They're not around now, but like December to March, they're around here, and also in Hawaii. When we go to Hawaii, I always see whales. And
yeah.
actually, on my Instagram, I paddleboarded with whales. Literally, one came right up to my board, and I filmed it.
Wow.
It's on my Instagram. It's on my IGTV.
Right.
About 6 weeks ago, it was pretty. It was the
Wow.
closest I've ever got. It was wild. They literally just were coming up to me and saying hi, and one went 6 inches under my board. Like, it was crazy. It was so cool.
Amazing. Amazing. Perfect. Kelly, it has been such a privilege to have you. I enjoyed this talk. I wanted to have this very informal to understand things. And, I hope everybody listening to this must catch hold of the book Heal and also the documentary on Netflix. And I think in the scheme of things, the world we are in right now, you have played a beautiful part in this world already, right, Kelly? Your existence has made some shift which will be forever. I'm sure the work which is going to come in from you, now I think you're more seasoned and I think more ripened as a consciousness. I'm sure post all of this work, and I'm waiting to have your next documentary, next book. Thank you, Kay, so much for having me here, for having on this show. It's real pleasure, and I wish and I hope great success to you. All your dreams comes true. And I hope to again meet you sometime soon and for some amazing interaction again. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you for joining so much.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Pleasure. Take care. Thank you so much.